Sorry,
Yeah.
unexpressed needs rarely get met. So unpack that.
Yeah. Well, so again, for a portion of my life, I was I struggled as a delegator. Even leading very large kitchens, I just expected people to know what I wanted done. And I do a lot of teaching in my day to day job now, orientations and leading and growing, and a lot of my world takes place as much outside of the kitchen as it does inside of the kitchen, or outside of a culinary operation as it does inside of a culinary operation. Um, and I like to use the example of a parent with children, right? So I told my dad this the other day. I am convinced that the longest distance known to man is between the sink and the dishwasher for a teenager. I mean, I'm pretty sure the James Webb telescope can't even get pictures of how far that distance is. And so, so in that example, though, right? If you have children and you want them to rinse their dirty dishes off and put them in the dishwasher, but you don't tell them to, and then you get mad at them for not doing that, who's that on? That's on you. You have to express your needs to what you expect them to do, right? If you tell them to clean up their room, but you're not specific, and they just shove everything in the closet, and then you get mad that everything's shoved in the closet, well, you didn't really express what you were expecting, right? Now, if you say, I want all these clothes separated, I want them washed, I want them folded, I want them put in the appropriate drawers, I want to make sure you vacuum the floor, I want you to make your bed every morning before you go to school. Well, that's really expressing yourself, right? So let's get a little deeper and a little bit more introspective on this. This one goes back to, if I'm sitting with myself and I'm truly honest with myself, I know what I want to change about myself. I just have to have the strength and the conviction and the determination to do it. I like to use the example of the gym, right? We're coming up on the end of the year, and in January, everybody's going to set their their goals for the year, and a lot of people are going to have their New Year's resolution of they're going to go to the gym, right? I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to get in shape. I'm going to change my diet, and so often they will express those needs to themselves. But then a week later, they'll miss a gym day, or a month later, they'll miss a gym day. And then they start that negative self talk, right? And then they start to tell themselves they never finish anything that they start, right? So for me, a couple of years ago, I went through a critical life event. And it changed me in many ways. It changed me physically. It changed me emotionally. It changed me mentally. I've always been. I've always considered myself to be very strong spiritually. I have a very strong faith. But I recognize that I was projecting my unexpressed needs out there, and I was getting really frustrated because they weren't getting met. But I wasn't really talking about them. I was just expecting people to know what they were. And so I had to dig back down deep and say, Tanner, what do you really want? What do you really want from yourself first? And then how do you want to present that in your interpersonal dynamics? How do you want to present that in your professional dynamics? And what are you willing to accept? And what are you willing to give up in whether people meet you in those things, right? And so that led me to really understand that people don't have to meet my needs. I can express them all I want to, but they don't have to meet them. and I have to decide whether I'm okay with that or not. And if I am okay with them not meeting my needs, where does that put them in my life? And in my hierarchy of importance for my things, right? And look, I'm as human as everybody else. Some of my needs are they're unreasonable. They are based on my own ego. They're based on my own pride. They're not for other people to meet, right? I sometimes will express my needs and then have to take a step back and say, wow, I'm kind of being a jerk right there. Maybe that's not the best for everybody involved in this situation. So there's a lot to expressing your needs. Um, but I think it's super important. And I mean, over the past 20 years, really, we've really started to do a lot of this. Goes back to the positive psychology piece. We've really started to do a lot of understanding of how do we present to other people, and how important it is to have healthy boundaries and to express what those boundaries are and express what your needs are. And my I had an interaction with my brother the other day, and my brother, he can get a little emotional, but it was really great in that it was the first time that I heard him really express his needs when he got emotional, and was saying, when this happens, this is how I feel, and this is why I don't like it, and this is what I need from this situation. And I thought to myself, well, you know what? Good for you, Colton. Good for you. I don't have to meet you on that. I can tell you that I think you're being emotional. I can tell you that I think that you're being a little prima donna right now, right? But I'm proud of you for expressing your needs. I'm proud of you for telling me what you need. And honestly, in that situation, it made me take a step back and say, you know what? Am I being a little? Again? Am I controlling my second thought? Am I being a little too presumptuous in how I think he should be handling the situation? Um, so unexpressed needs rarely get met, and it's so vitally important for you to express what you really need, what you really need from yourself, what you really need from others in personal dynamics and professional dynamics, and it creates healthier relationships.